Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to my channel. Now, there are a lot of reactors in the world of music. Last couple of years especially, the number has increased exponentially. There are reactors who genuinely seem sincere in their reactions. There are reactors who are over the top. There are reactors who are just based on pure reactions alone. Some are more review-based, analytical. The vocal coaches are here in full force. And there are, of course, the reactors who tell you to smash the like button. Let's get it to 100,000 likes. That kind of thing. And I wanted to try something out. We'll see how it goes. And then if you like it, maybe I'll do more in the future. I wanted to do something, like a reactor critique almost. Now, am I the perfect reactor? Of course not. And in fact, if you guys enjoy this and I end up doing more, perhaps I'll do one on myself in the future. Because let me tell you, if you go back to my reactions in 2015, 2016, 2017, take any year pretty much, and there's some terrible, terrible reactions in there. I think I've improved a lot. I know I have my personal preference in reactions, and not only do I do reactions, I listen. I watch a lot of reactions as well. Like, pretty much it's pretty common for me when I react to something really awesome. I'm like, okay, now I gotta go watch. This gives me permission now to watch a ton of other reactions to it. And I'm pretty particular, I'll watch a bunch, but I don't. There are some I steer away from. There are some I'm more inclined to watch. But in this series, if I continue on after this, I want to kind of touch on all the different kinds of reactors there are. And I'll only be focusing on the music reactors, not like TV show reactors, which, while I do watch a lot of them, I don't do them myself, so I don't feel I have any reason to be able to critique people for that. Well, that's not true. I could, but just not my specific wheelhouse. I've done music reactions since 2015, September 2015, I believe. And in the beginning I did reactions to everything I enjoyed, like trailers, some random videos, some comedy, just a mix of a lot of things. And since then I've come down to just doing music reactions, and that's just my choice. But I want to take a look, because reactions often they have a connotation to them to where it's like you just pump them out. Some reactors do that. They'll do multiple a day and whatnot. So I think it's an interesting thing to actually take a step back and look at it in a more in-depth way. So I'm going to be looking at the reactions themselves, like how they format everything, the framing, as well as thumbnails, things in the background, and what they say before and after the video. Now, I'm not going to overanalyze people and be like, oh, he slipped up on his words there, he shouldn't have done that. The ultimate thing, what it comes down to, is personal preference. So I know my reactions aren't for everyone. I know a lot of times you'll want the over the top reaction. You'll want this or that I might not be able to give you, and I understand that. I'm going to try to look at things as objectively as possible in this series if I continue. But I wanted to start a little close to home and check out someone who I know and I've seen plenty of reactions from already. So this isn't going to be a reaction from me. Like, I'm going to probably go into a reaction format in some points of me watching the reaction, but I'm not going to show my full reaction. I'm going to cut it up, show different things. I may or may not have seen the video I'm going to do for this particular one. I don't think I've seen it, so it'll be kind of fresh for me. But hey, I'm only going to probably cover one video per reactor. So I know that's not a completely fair thing to do, because some reactions are not going to be as good as others for certain reactors. You might not have as much of a reaction. You might not have enjoyed the video as much as others. And I understand that. But for the interest of time, I kind of have to do it this way. And I'm very up to revisiting in the future things like previous reactors I've already covered. So I also very much encourage the reactor I'm talking about to respond in video form to the critique. You don't have to do a reaction necessarily, but I'd like to hear a response if you're up for it. Like, any of my criticisms I give, feel free to respond. And going into this, I'm not going to just be like looking for bad things the whole time, like, oh, you should do this better, you should do this better. Because again, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try to look at the positives and negatives, talk about preferences when it comes to reactions and what they could do better or what they could change, but they don't have to. Obviously, none of these people have to change anything, especially since they're likely doing better than I am. So the first thing we'll look at is the thumbnail, because that's the kind of the first impression you get. Now, Rob is great with his thumbnails, keeping them kind of consistent, and there's a certain uniformity to them to where you can look at his thumbnail, you know immediately that's him. And that's something kind of with marketing. Thumbnail is kind of putting a cover on your work, your video. That's one thing, is you want it to be recognizable instantly, and he does that well. Where, you know, nice little effect here, just the text on the top, the artist nice and big, stylized, and I think it's a really great, it's clean thumbnail, okay? I appreciate it. Now, it's like the thumbnails kind of blend together to where they're not super distinguishable from one another, but if that's what you want to do, and just like, you know, kind of meld them all together thematically, then that's cool. And I appreciate that. And I know Rob also changes his thumbnails a lot to where, like, for Reactmas, which is like the month of December, doing reactions each day, he has a special thumbnail for that, puts a little bow on it, that's nice. And in the past, he just over time, he switched between different styles. And, you know, that's kind of what I've done, just obviously not as a sleek of a fashion, but, you know, I don't know if he intentionally does it just to change it up every now and then, or if he's like, I'm not feeling this so much, I'm going to shift over to this. I don't know, but either way, I think it's cool, it's effective, and, you know, you can spot, okay, this is Rob in this time period, you know, 2019, a couple months here, he's had this thumbnail style. It's kind of cool. So we're going to check out his reaction to Where Are You Christmas? That's the one I'm going to be looking at today. And yeah. Beautiful. That's branding. I said marketing before, but branding is really more what I was going for. Super cool. Love the style of that. It just it really sets them apart. It's like you instantly know, ooh, those sounds, and you associate them with Rob Reactor. Very cool. I want something like that. Sure.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is a Christmas video.
New merch available. Link in the description. That's a nice little thing there.
When I filmed
Gotta get your plugs in, okay?
I don't know how it happened, but I completely skipped over them, and I'm not waiting another year. So we're gonna have Christmas in.
So Rob's messing up. That's a big mess up. How'd you miss Where Are You Christmas? And what Christmas means to me, I saw was the other one you uploaded.
Christmas, by the way. I just finished watching Superfruit, The Promise, and Pentatonics, The Sound of Silence. Both of those destroyed me, left me in a weeping puddle. So let's make it 3 for 3.
Okay, that's the Rob for you. Okay, I want to talk about the background he's got going on. It's nice. He's had some different things going on in the background before, and it's always really nice and deliberately framed. This is really nice framing here. Now, he's got a really shallow depth of focus, meaning he's in focus right in front of the camera, but things behind him are completely out of focus, which is a really nice stylistic choice, especially for reactions like this. And I know he consistently does that for all of his other reactions. I think it's really effective because you just want to see the face crinkles. You want to see the pure reaction. That's what you want to see. We could all learn a thing or two from this. The subtle facial movements are what makes his reactions so adored, you know? It's just like he's literally just watching us. It's not so genuine. Another thing worth noting about Rob's reactions, and, you know, this is personal preference. I don't like to talk too much in my reactions, but I do like to throw in words here or there, you know, mix it up a little bit so it's like a fresh experience for someone who's watching my reaction versus anyone else's. You know, I appreciate good facial reactions, you know. This is clearly a genuine reaction, which is something I appreciate more than anything. But with that, he always makes a conscious decision, I think, to refrain from talking for the large majority of the video, and such to the extent that the volume of the source video, in this case Pentatonix Where Are You Christmas, full volume, whereas his volume's pretty much non-existent. Like whenever he chimes in, it'll be kind of softly and you won't hear it too much. Like whenever he does say a comment here or there, which is kind of rare for him. He usually just takes in the video, which is what draws people to him so much, and how he is able to get those raw emotions so much. It's incredible. I don't know if I personally prefer videos like this where the original video is full volume and the Reactor's audio is either low or they don't talk much at all. I don't know. I personally have the video volume lower than mine so as to like kind of fall into fair use more, so make it more transformative, more like so people won't be encouraged to just go to my reaction as a way to rewatch the video. They're there for my reaction primarily first. The head movement, that's a classic Rob. See, now I'm just like, I'm watching the video again though. It's so loud. Oh no, the tears are coming. I love this end card. All the different emotions. So clean. The branding, gotta give it to him. Okay, so that's another thing with Rob, is that he's the kind of reactor who doesn't have too much of a review afterwards. So he'll say a couple few things, and then kind of move on to the next thing. He wants it. Well, I'm not gonna speak for him, but it seems like he wants this kind of like a tight little contained package. Bite size, eat it right up real quick. But yeah, I will say that it's kind of a jarring transition going from the beginning to where, I have the volume set properly to where I can hear Rob at a reasonable level, to then going into the reaction to where the video volume really takes over, and it's like kind of in your face. You might have to lower the volume a little bit at that point. For me, I try to make it a point, and I don't do this perfectly all the time, but I try to make it so you can listen to my videos at a consistent audio level the whole time throughout, and everything else kind of balances along the way. But hey, it's kind of a transition point at the same time. It's like you can make the listener, the watcher, work a little bit. Change the volume. That's fine. Again, just don't know about the full volume for the video. Also very problematic in terms of copyright. I mean, obviously I still get copyright claims for everything, but I mean, for videos that get blocked, you're less likely to get them blocked if the audio volume is low and if you're talking a little bit more throughout it. At the same time, what people love about Rob, and I completely understand, is the full emotion, how he gets so invested in the song. And another thing I appreciate about Rob is the headphones. I wear earbuds, maybe not as effective, and it doesn't like put me in the zone as much as headphones like his. But yeah, that's what I appreciate, is because you can hear everything fully, as opposed to just having it out of your computer or laptop, just coming out of its speakers. It's not quite as effective. I know some people have some more high-tech speakers that can produce a greater sound, and that's understandable as well. But if you do things this way and use the source video's audio, it gives you more room to manipulate and change the audio if you need to. I know he doesn't really do that. He'll cut it up if he needs to, if the reaction is blocked. But you can always lower the volume, in my case, for videos that are problematic when using headphones. Whereas if you have it coming out of a speaker, it's hard to do, because if you're talking at the same time, it messes up the audio. And I fully acknowledge that this is a video where he didn't break down in tears. I know there are ones that he's known for where he's really he cries his heart out. I didn't want to go for like the number one most viewed Rob Reactor video or anything. I just wanted to take a random one and just kind of one that has the video I've seen already, being Where Are You Christmas, and just kind of unpackage it from there. Now I will say it helps that I actually have met Rob I met him at Pentacon 2018, and the fact that I've met him and he's very much the same in person. He's emotional, he's empathetic, and he's just a genuinely nice person. That helps a lot, knowing that he is that, because a lot of problems with other reactors is that you don't know quite how genuine they are. I try to be genuine as much as I can, and a lot of reactors are genuine, and there's some that are probably not. And there are also some that just kind of elevate certain parts of their personality for the reaction. Maybe a little more hype than they would be just sitting and watching it. Rob's not trying to put on any sort of front here. Like, he's literally just him watching the video. So it's literally what you're getting is his reaction. It's not a watch with me. It's not let me entertain you as I'm watching this. It's like you're sitting in. You're just sitting in a room with me, just literally watching me watch a video. So that's a stylistic choice for sure. So you can be the judge of whether you enjoy that or not. Again, I try to be objective, but it certainly helps to know he is genuine in person, so that validates so much of what he does here. Whereas some reactors, I question their authenticity, and I don't have any means to verify it one way or the other because I haven't met them. I don't know them. Rob, great guy. So those are a couple things I would change. Personally, I prefer when people have a review at the end of the video, a little more in depth, because, I might not sit through the review every time. I know everybody's not watching my whole video every time, but it's there. It's at least there if you want it. It's supplemental material, so you always have the reaction there in its entirety. But then again, you also have the review if you want a more in-depth take. If not, you can bow out and you can exit out of the video. So I personally don't think it would be a turnoff to have a longer video in favor of more in-depth coverage, especially if you really love a video, to give it more time. That's always appreciated. I know there are some videos he talks a little bit more on, but just generally he likes to keep it short and sweet. I like how his framing is always perfectly the same, pretty much. And I think he talked about this before. We had a little Reactor group chat for Pentacon, and he just pretty much is able to hit, as far as I think he was the one who said he was able to just sit down and hit play on the camera because it's already set up for him, whereas a lot of us have to set it up again every time. He's got a stationary setup, it seems, and it's cool. That's a nice luxury to have as a reactor, because you can fall right back in and keep it all the same uniformity, which is something he clearly likes. I like the frame around the video, the nice blue frame. He's always got a very similar kind of shirt going on as well. But again, I like the background. It's nice. It's pretty. It accompanies the video nicely. It's not super in your face, here are musical things in the background. I'm a big music fan. Here's a Pentatonix poster in the background. It's really just a nice little elegant background that can apply to anything, so it's not specific. It's not like Pentatonix merch hanging in the background, that kind of thing, or a Kirsten poster in the background. I'm not perfect. Okay, so I love the branding, love the genuine sincerity in the reactions. That's at the top of my list for reactions, I think, is someone who is genuine about the reaction. Other than that, had a couple little things I pointed out, but nothing major. It's hard to criticize a man who I know is genuinely a sincerely nice person, and genuinely loves what he's listening to and watching, and it's something about him. As a reactor, I'm not a huge reactor by any means. If you look at views, things like that, I'm not up there. And as someone who doesn't do everything just for the views, I admire Rob for that as well, because while he does get a lot of views on certain things, he doesn't do everything for the views. He'll watch things even if they don't get many views. He just really appreciates what he's listening to, and that's something that I can't have. As much as I try, as much as I could try, I'll never have the Rob Reactor special sauce, which is the ability to just fully absorb yourself in the song to the extent that he does, where he didn't get into full on tears, but he was still tearing up from the song, and it doesn't work for me. As much as I try to appreciate the music as much as possible, I don't think I've ever broken down in tears. The closest I've been is maybe Hallelujah, but it just doesn't happen. I can't. It's just not in my personality, and that's a certain personality trait that I think people really love, especially if you're coming in as a super fan of something. Like, oh, I love this video from Pentatonics, I love this video from Superfruit, whatever it is, and I want to see someone appreciate it. If you go on there and see someone breaking down into tears because of how much they're engaged and just touched by the music, that's going to be super effective. Okay, if you enjoyed this, let me know. Rob, feel free to respond to it in any way. I mean, it's not like I fired any shots at you. I didn't say anything bad, so it's not like you have to snap back. But anything you want to respond to, feel free. In video form would be nice. If not, a comment, sure, but no pressure. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave in the description whether it be the name of a reactor I should go to and do one of these critiques for, or a link to a specific reaction of that reactor that I should do. It could be one of your favorite reactors, one of your least favorite reactors. And I'll try to touch on the positive and negative. I'm going to always try to be respectful. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to hate on their appearance and their like their style or anything like that. It's always going to be just like as objective as possible. The format of the reactions, everything. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye-bye.